Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of IPJ the podcast. I'm Matthew Gonzalez, and we here at IPJ wanted to say thank you to every one of you who have subscribed to our YouTube channel. It's been an incredible journey so far, and we will only get much better from here. I promise. And if you have a friend or relative who loves true crime and corruption stories with a mix of celebrity, filmmakers, and music industry interviews, then we ask that you send them a link to one of our shows in the hopes that they will subscribe too. And if you haven't taken the time yourself yet to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do so now and hit the bell to ensure you receive links to new shows once they are published. I would also like to say thank you and welcome aboard to our over 2,000 new subscribers to our website. Over 2,000, that's so huge, at abovealllaws.com. Got to get that right. On our website, you'll find liner notes to our podcast, true stories that the media can't cover due to the massive amounts of crime and corruption taking place in California, and an open comment section to discuss each story. And don't forget, if you have a story to tell, please email us at newsdesk@abovealllaws.com. Again, that's newsdesk@abovealllaws.com, or at IPJ the podcast @abovealllaws.com. Mariposa County, California continues to be a vast resource of victims left voiceless by their local law enforcement and political leaders. And I have received multiple calls, text messages, and emails from the Cole family and locals in Mariposa saying they have tried to get information to the Sheriff's Department, but to no avail. So I decided to call Christy Mitchell again at the public information. She's the public information officer at the Mariposa County Sheriff's Office, and asked if the sheriff would be putting out a press release regarding the reopening of the drowning death case of Ronnie Cole. Christy, who was very professional and firm, I gotta say, and earned my respect, stated that the department does not put out press releases about investigations. She also said that if the Cole family wishes to get an update on the case, they are more than welcome to call the investigators themselves. I reminded her that in fact there are multiple press releases regarding investigations, including the Ronnie Cole press release about the investigation in 2017, and that the family and the victim of the rape allegation have been calling the sheriff's investigators and are either told there is no information or they are sent to a voicemail where they leave a message never to get a return phone call. Christy then stated that they don't just go telling everyone in the world when they open an investigation. And that's when I literally pleaded with her to at least inform the local community that there may be a potential murderer, or at the very least a person who committed a homicide running loose in their community. I also told her to, at the very least, send a press release to the Mariposa Gazette. And what about the brave woman who came forward with the rape allegations you heard on the podcast a couple of weeks ago? Well, I also explained to Christy that I have received information that at least 3 other rape victims are now alleging the same ex-con raped them, and that they too have come forward to speak to investigators at the Sheriff's Department. So again, would she please inform the public at large who could potentially be victimized by these people too? Christy listened quietly and would pause a few seconds before responding. And I gotta say, I have a lot of respect for her and the job that she's doing, although we may not agree. I've worked in public relations, and I can tell you she's got one hell of a tough job. It's a very thankless job. So thank you, Christy, for always answering your phone when I call and speaking with the media. We really appreciate it. Christy reaffirmed that if the family wishes to get any information from the investigators regarding the case, they can call and speak with the investigators, and they will talk with them. She also reassured me that she would look into any of the family's or alleged victims' inquiries and be sure that the information that they're trying to give to the Sheriff's Department is being given. I personally believe that the residents of Mariposa have the right to know if the guy who is alleged to have broken into their homes, beaten men and women in their homes in front of their children, and who is alleged to have raped several young girls in the public, has every right to know and must demand that their board of supervisors call the sheriff and demand a public update. There should also be a demand for the internal review, an internal review within the sheriff's department to find out what's going on. And I would also ask anybody in Mariposa that cares about this case being left to go away. If you care about people being victimized and you want to stand up against this and not allow this anymore in your beautiful county, then say something about it. Stand up, file something with the grand jury. They can actually do an investigation and look into the allegations of the actions of the sheriff's department. Also, why not the Chief Pennywise? Why hasn't he taken leadership role in this? Why hasn't he stepped up to the plate and replaced Deputy Hendricks, who led the first investigation, the very shoddy investigation with so many discrepancies and lies that she said were facts and truths? How can he allow her to continue this investigation? She's obviously not going to go against her own investigation, so she's going to investigate this to try to validate her investigation. Sheriff Pennywise, we need some fresh eyes on the Ronnie Cole case. And it's about time you stand up and start being a sheriff and taking leadership. Being a sheriff is not only being a politician and shaking hands and kissing babies, but it's about leadership. And if you ain't got the leadership to stand up and say, you know what, this is not right, we don't do this, then God damn it, you don't belong to be a sheriff. You do not belong in that department being the sheriff, period. So either stand up or get the hell out the sheriff's department. And moving on, our website at abovealllaws.com has been on fire lately with a story I wrote a couple of years ago involving Dennis Brazel. I call him Brazel because I don't want to offend the country of Brazil. Mr. Brazel was a candidate for the California State Senate, District 12 at the time, and apparently Dennis is giving another go for politics as he's launched a bid for a seat on the Gustine, California School Board representing Area 3. Now, a couple of folks in the Gustine, California did some research about the candidates, and they came across a story on our website at abovealllaws.com about Dennis and his anger management issues. According to the story, the former mayor of Gustine was allegedly upset at his mother on Easter Sunday and allegedly struck her in the arm and also hit her with her car door. I was able to confirm that the story did happen, did take place. We posted the case number of the civil suit that had been filed by his mother for elder abuse. She also was able to get a restraining order against him before she passed away from cancer. And she was able to get 3 years restraining order, although she was seeking 10 years of restraining order against her own son. Dennis Brazel seems to, have a lot of different issues, unfortunately. Apparently it might stem from some ongoing mental health issues. We're not sure. But from what it sounds like from the multiple people we've spoken with, definitely seems to be a very narcissistic person who does have some serious anger management issues. Also, Dennis's mother's home was broken into recently on October 10th on a Saturday, and some of the locals believe it might have been him. So I mean, this is even very recent too. So be careful of who you're voting for out there, Gustine. You got to be careful because it could lead to a very serious lawsuit against you, the taxpayers in Gustine, and you'll end up paying for his actions. So if you're going to vote for somebody, please make sure that, their head's a little straight on the shoulders because it could get you liable for their actions. Now, in true anger fashion, Dennis went on a spree, and he attacked apparently people who'd shared the story online and sent them threatening messages. And the messages were pretty bad. I mean, you don't go sending messages to elderly people like that. It just doesn't make any sense. One of the messages basically says something like, let's see here. Yeah, that's why you spelled it wrong. You must be an idiot too. That's from Dennis Brazel to somebody on Facebook. And remember, you messaged me, not the other way around. So if you don't like my comments, don't stick your nose in my business and you won't have to worry about it. If you're going to be a public servant, Brazel, everybody's going to have their nose in your business. You're a public servant. And I will tell you the same thing right to your face, he says, to end the message to this person. I have another one here. This guy's pretty good at his writing. He likes to write people when he gets upset. So imagine, again, if you vote for this guy and he sends out one of these threatening messages to a constituent. I just found out your wife has been sending and posting things about me. You are both fucking idiots. This is from Dennis Brazel. I sent the messages with, the name is redacted, name on it, to my attorney and will look at filing civil slander against her. Civil suit for slander against her. If you're gonna, first of all, let me just break here. If you're gonna file a slander suit, Dennis, just make sure you have it right. Slander is when I'm talking like this, that's slander, and I say something like, Dennis is a fucking retard. Then that could be, let me just explain something real quick, okay, for Dennis. Dennis, if you're listening, remember slander is me saying something like, Dennis is a fucking idiot. That would be, maybe, well, I don't know if it would be considered slander because it might be true. I don't know. But it could be considered slander, I guess, if it wasn't true. And if it caused you some kind of financial loss, then you could recuperate that loss in a lawsuit for slander. But what you are referring to in your message to this person is called libel. Okay, when people write something that you think has caused you financial damage against your reputation, your name, whatever, it's written, it's called libel. Okay, so just so get that straight, especially if you're going to be representing people or representing an area. You want to make sure you have just the basics down. So, to continue with this message, by the way, that was sent at 7:50 a.m., as usual, you both have your nose stuck in other people's business. I'm going to show you what happens with you mess with the wrong person. I think you meant when you mess with the wrong person. Oh, really? What's going to happen? If you want to do some good, why don't you clean your fucking inside and out? You are both filthy fucking pigs. That's Dennis Brazel. Gustine, California. Running for school board area 3. Wow. Holy sheet spots. And he also wrote on here that Zach is an idiot, the guy he's running against. This guy's just whacked, man. You guys need to watch out. You guys are going to get yourselves into some serious problems voting this guy in. But hey, it's your community. If that's what you want to do, you don't mind, having this guy represent your area on the school board. Oh gosh, I'm sorry to laugh. It's not funny. It's disgusting. But we do need to get some humor going. So some kind of humor. And I need somebody to talk to this about. So I decided to reach out to a gentleman named Enrique, who had been sent these messages from people who received them from Dennis Brazel. And he was able to post them on Facebook, and people responded to them. positive and negative ways. But at least it got the information out there of what this guy does. It's ridiculous. Anyways, Mr. Enrique decided to join me briefly for a little conversation, and this is what we talked about. So, welcome to the show now. I wanted to introduce Mr. Enrique Hernandez, who is a stand-up comedian, a host, and a producer in his own right. Welcome to the show, Enrique. I appreciate you being here.
Hey, man. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So you were, you had been sent these messages by these people that apparently Dennis Brazel had sent to them?
Yeah. It was kind of shocking, you know, and then after reading up on him a little bit, I was like, oh, he was pretty pissed at Easter, wasn't he? You know,
a little bit.
All because of an Easter egg hunt he missed. I guess his mom went out of town and he didn't appreciate that.
Ouch.
So he decides to, you know, allegedly do what he did. And these people send me these messages saying, hey, look, this is his character. We want you to know. Now, one of them is a 80-plus senior couple, and the husband is a veteran.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry to stop you. Did you say one of them was an 80-year-old senior couple?
Yes. The husband is a veteran who served in Korea.
Oh, jeez.
You know, he was 17 at the time, you know, and for him to go through all that and then, you know, it just doesn't sit right. I've never served or anything. I was too fat to get into the Army. So, you know, it's frustrating.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, can you give me some summary about that message, though, that was sent to the couple?
Yeah, his Dennis's messages for his first wife, they were calling them out for sharing the news about what happened to him. And, you know, these people, first of all, they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just wrong. I don't know why they're doing it. Or David is doing it to them, but why should he feel like he can treat someone like that?
Dennis, right.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, especially if he's looking to represent these people.
Dude, it's like, would you ever talk to your own grandpa? Well, maybe he would, actually.
Good point, yeah.
I sure wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't. Obviously, most people wouldn't. But he's sitting there, you know, berating these people, and it's like, why? Yeah. Why do you have to go out of your way? I don't know, man. It just really it gets you to the point where it makes you just not hate him, but really, really not like him.
Right. I don't understand how this guy even is on the ballot, honestly.
Why he's even a consideration to some people. It's you got to wonder. Maybe it's the whole political atmosphere right now, man. It's like back your party or you're just wrong.
Right? Doesn't it seem that way? It's either party or nothing.
I'm independent, dude.
Me too. Yeah.
I mean, I support Zach. Now, I like him personally. I've actually worked with him. I actually did a fundraiser for him out there for his traveling library.
Okay. Yeah. I saw that program.
That's shop in Gustine.
That's a really cool little program. He actually got up and running.
Yeah, we did a little show up there for him, and we raised a little bit of money, but you know, it's tough times right now. So
yeah.
They need help.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to donate to his traveling library, go for it.
Yeah.
It's a good cause.
We'll be sure to put that up in on the screen for everybody for a link to go to that to help out with the traveling library and to get more information on it because I think it's really interesting. Good segue, though, into you doing shows.
Thanks.
Tell us about what you do. Well, yeah. So you do stand-up comedy, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and where might we be able to catch one of your shows, or what do you got coming
Let's
up?
see. Well, actually, right now it's a little dry. Uh,
Yeah, right.
in case you guys are wondering, it's 2020.
All right.
We're at the ass end of it, but we're still balls deep in it.
Yep.
Into COVID, I mean.
Right, right.
But
Is there any way are you finding any kind of gigs like in parking lots or anything like that?
you know what? That I'm working on that right now. Actually, I'm
Awesome.
talking to a couple people, so we're going to do these parking lot shows, but it's not quite the same as being on stage at the Ice House in Pasadena.
Yeah,
There,
yeah.
you, dude, there's no feeling that you get from everyday life that could possibly give you that feeling
Oh yeah,
when you're up there.
yeah. Oh, I know. I know what you mean. I've produced a lot of events out there.
It's
Everything.
awesome, dude.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I did the Oscars party at the Beverly Hills Hilton in the ballrooms there a
Oh,
couple of
wow.
years. So those are just gorgeous stages and wonderful crews to work with, and just the atmosphere, the excitement of the whole
Dude,
production
the
is
energy you
amazing.
get back
Yeah.
from the crowd, too.
Oh yeah.
That's the main thing.
Oh, you feed on it, right? As an
Oh,
entertainer.
dude. Oh, dude, that you need that.
Yeah.
And then you feed it right back to them.
Exactly.
It's just like a perpetual fucking energy machine, dude. You
Yeah.
just keep feeding it into each other unless, you start bombing.
Yeah.
Then you lose that energy. And I think it's happened to all of us.
Oh yeah.
It's a horrible, tragic thing to witness
Mm-hmm.
when you're watching yourself on video and just, oh, God, begging for the seconds to just
Now,
fall off the clock.
now, when you come across that in your performance, what do you do to adjust? I mean, because you can't.
Well, sometimes,
Uh-huh.
sometimes it's you.
Hmm.
So if you're able to adjust, you do it. You just kind of have to segue into the next set or into the next bit
Hmm.
the right way and just try to end it with some kind of laughter.
Right.
But
Yeah, because sometimes you can't recover, right? I mean, sometimes you just
oh yeah,
it's done.
sometimes you're just eating shit pie up there.
Right?
Yeah,
That's one way to put it.
and the thing is, you got to finish your time. You
Oh,
can't
right.
just walk
Yeah.
off stage before you get the light. You're
right.
you're working with a producer who's counting on you to finish your time.
Yeah.
So you gotta sit there and take that slice of fucking shit pie and just work with it.
Brutal.
And then sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Now, how does that happen?
sometimes it's the host.
Mm.
If you get a flat host, doesn't open strong.
So you're saying
you
your
always
crowd's
wanna
not
open.
warm, they're not pumped, they're not ready for the energy you're going to bring, and so it can kind
Yeah.
of tank them at the same time. I've seen that happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why with my shows, I try to only hire headliners in my lineup.
Mm.
Like
That's tough.
first year.
Yeah,
It is.
that's tough
But
too, though.
that's part of the fun of it.
That's a good way to look at it because it does keep you on your toes as well as a performer. So yeah, absolutely. Now, when you do some producing work, what type of work do you do as producer? Are you doing
Comedy shows.
Okay.
I had this place out in Lake Forest, Forest Lanes, where we were doing comedy. Really great shows, man. They had a great stage and everything, huge bar.
Oh wow.
And I was bringing some national headliners up there, and
Oh.
then the COVID hits.
Yeah.
So everything. So you got to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Even though you build up momentum, people forget. You're not in their lives, so
Yeah.
you have to build that back up and pretty much from scratch. Well, you have to build the interest, build the energy, and then it builds into the crescendo of the show, and then you start again.
Yeah.
Or you ride that wave into the next month,
Now, are you writing your own jokes, or you have writers?
Oh no, I'm totally me.
Yeah. And so that's another pressure on you when you're, producing and even hosting your own show. You've got that added, thing you have to worry about. Not only does the production have to be correct, but then you've got to be able to produce.
Do I suck? Do I suck up there? Because as a producer, I've been doing it about a year, but I really love it. But I'm still new.
Yeah.
So, do I suck? You start asking yourself these questions, and you're like, no, I can't be, because the show's going pretty good.
Yeah.
People are coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not doing too bad. But then, you get these flat moments, and you're like, shit, that's gotta go. But yeah, it's a challenge, man. And then on top of that, you have your full-time shit job.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not a shit job. I make good money, but it's not what you're passionate about.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. It's not what you'd like to be making that. Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like I'm getting paid to work, but also entertain my friends at work.
Nice.
That's the bonus.
Yeah. Very cool.
Just some fucking shit talk in there, man. Four guys. You know how that shit can go.
Yeah. So, have you been doing anything online at all, like any YouTube stuff, or just posting any kind of little videos or anything of some stuff? Maybe thinking about doing something like that, just to kind of keep keep it fresh. A
buddy of mine have this place in Whittier we're going to do some work out of, and we're going to be doing some Zoom shows. So that's going to be coming up.
That'd be nice. So
keep an eye out for outsourced comedy.
Outsourced comedy?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of an inside joke with the real estate industry. We outsource everything.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I kind of had to bring that in.
So that's so you do some real estate work, huh?
Yeah. It's kind of like the most boring part of the industry.
Right. Yeah. I hear you.
It's all in the office. Yeah. It's all, okay, hurry up and fix everybody's mistakes and do it perfect and get it recorded with the county within so many minutes.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So no pressure.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, you have to be accurate because, when you sell a house, I mean, you don't want to fuck somebody.
Yeah, because one little thing can throw the whole sell off. Yeah, on that title, yeah.
Dude, one lien, one bad deed, one wild... Oh, dude, I don't even want to get into it. Yeah. I don't want to bore your listeners.
Oh, yeah. No, and it's actually a really good thing. Maybe we can do another podcast at another time and talk a little bit about that boring stuff, because there are a lot of people like me who are actually into that boring stuff, because I'm looking at buying a building soon. I would like to buy a medical building and just start building wealth that way.
I see what you mean, buddy.
Yeah. So I'm already kind of lining myself up. So it'd be good to get you on another show and hear some of your inside information. Maybe we can talk a little bit later. So a little more.
Let me tell you, I can count on one finger on one hand how many times I've been able to talk about my work and actually help somebody.
Right, because you're just checking the boxes, making sure everything's good, right? Yeah. I hear you. That makes sense. Yeah.
I felt actual fulfillment for once in my life. I've been doing this shit for 20 years. I felt one moment of fulfillment for my career in those 20 years.
Wow. What was that moment?
So it was in a parking lot outside of a comedy show I was doing. It was a fellow comedian.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That is great, dude. That's awesome.
Dude.
So
it was funny.
So how can people, find out more about what you got going on? You got a social media account that people can follow, or?
Yeah. Let's see. Outsource Comedy on Instagram. Enrique Hernandez Comedian on Facebook. Let's see, I got an Enrique Hernandez Presents on Instagram and Facebook.
Fantastic.
Sure, that's it.
Perfect. So Enrique Hernandez, comedian, producer, and host. Look him up. Go there, like his pages, follow him. Funny guy, and definitely. Yep.
At Funny Enrique.
What was that? One more time.
At Funny Enrique. Sorry about
Funny
that.
Enrique. Got it. And it's the full spelled out Funny Enrique.
Yep. ENRIQUE.
Perfect. All right, so everybody make sure you go there and check it out. Man, Enrique, I really appreciate you spending a moment with me and talking a little bit about the silliness in gusting, because honestly, I personally think it's a bunch of silliness, especially that woman that came out attacking you. I don't even want to give her name any attention here, but we know what we're talking about.
I was flattered to be able to stir her passions the way I did.
Yeah, and you did quite well, my friend. You did quite well. Touche. All right, man. Well, again, I appreciate you so much for joining me. Welcome back. As many of you recall, there was a great housing boom in the 2000s. As developers took advantage of reduced developer fees, inventories were being bought up as quickly as they could be built on farmlands across the Central Valley. And one of those developers was a man by the name of Greg Hostetler. Now, many locals in the Merced County area may know Greg for his kind and generous annual giveaways of turkeys on Thanksgiving. Greg is well aware of how easy it is to get the very people he's been screwing over to come to his defense by just giving them a turkey every year. Imagine being the city councilman or board of supervisor who tries standing up to Greg's shoddy business practices. They will face the wrath of their poor and middle-class citizens who have received a free turkey from Greg Hostetler, and so they stay quiet. And because they stay quiet, Greg has been able to literally steal people's farmlands through his corrupting of local government officials. Greg Hostetler's pattern of taking people's lands by corrupting local politicians was made very clear when in 2004, a gentleman by the name of Richard Bird was forced to sell a piece of property to the then Merced County Sheriff Mark Pazin, who was incarcerating him, the then Merced County District Attorney who was prosecuting him, and to Greg Hostetler, owner of Ranchwood Homes, for damages arising from violations of the federal civil rights labor codes. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Bird passed away before his lawsuit could be finished, but I believe his daughter took it over. I haven't looked up to see what the final is on that. I should do that, though, and give you guys an update. But if you get a chance to look it up, let me know. You can hear more about the incident in my discussion with a former Atwater Code Enforcement officer, Mike Teeter, whose discussion is on our website at Above All Laws. Just do a search for the name Mike Teeter on our website and the audio will come up. You see, Greg Hostetler wants to acquire as much land as he can and develop it when the price is right. Nothing wrong with that, unless you're doing it by using shady legal maneuvers to aggressively close on someone's land. And in 2004, Greg Hostetler purchased land which he knew belonged to an elderly man being held in the Merced County Jail, named Richard Bird. Mr. Bird was held in the county jail until he agreed to sell his land for a greatly undervalued price to Greg Hostetler and his partners. Once he sold the land, Mr. Bird was immediately released from the Merced County Jail. So why the fuck is this asshole allowed to continue to do business in California, period? Seriously. And it only gets worse with this two-bit hustler, Greg Hostetler, as he has literally began spreading his corruption into other counties across California because no one in power cares. According to an in-depth investigation by the Winters Express, Greg Hostetler has been gaming the system by getting information directly from the Winters city manager, John Donlevy, about land annexations before the public did. Their research also showed that on many occasions the information was never made public and only went to Greg Hostetler. There are many allegations that this has been the same scenario for Hostetler with other city managers throughout California who are corruptible and willing to take some of Hostetler's backdoor money. And once again, Hostetler is attempting to broaden his portfolio by endorsing 41-year-old Paul Yanez. According to financial disclosure forms, Greg Hostetler has pumped $80,000 into the Paul Yanez campaign. Now we're talking about a very small town, little Los Banos. $80,000? That's a lot of money for a very small town campaign. And a guy like Greg Hostetler doesn't just give up $80,000 because he thinks he'll do good, for the people or be a good leader for the people. No. He is buying political influence. That means if Greg Hostetler wants to take someone else's land, he'll be able to call the mayor he bought for $80,000 and squash any Los Banos local like a bug. Will you be that bug? Well, I hope not. Greg's hoping you will be, but I hope not. So there you have it. You have the information before you to make the decisions that are going to affect you for generations to come. Take that information and do with it what you will. Either you'll vote for one or you'll vote for the other. It's up to you. But what's most important is that you are given the information to help you make the decisions that will best reflect on how you want your cities, your towns, your communities run by politicians. And also another thing, real quick too, remember, we all, bash the government this, the government that. Well, remember, we are the government. We elect the government. So they're our government. All right, and I also want to just update you. We were going to have a woman on, a guest on, to talk about overcoming adversity and difficult situations. Priscilla Augusta Yarnigan, with her book, The Anonymous Soul. Unfortunately, she is sick. She is not feeling very well at all. She's out for today. She is going to try to make my next show next week, and we'll talk a little bit more about her book and overcoming adversities at that time. But I do want to get some information out to a lot of those folks who have been calling in to us and have been sharing information that is very sensitive. And there are resources out there to help you to cope with these things and to get through them. For Mariposa, there's the Mariposa County Victim Services. Their number is area code 209-966-3626. And you can also email them at mcda@mariposacounty.org. There's also the Victims Witness Program. Their number is 209-742-7441. Again, 209-742-7441. There's also the Mariposa Women and Family Center. Their number is area code 714-547-6494. They're out in the Orange County area. That's in Southern California. So if you need some information or maybe what to do, how to do it, get a hold of these folks. They can maybe give you some direction. There's also the California Crime Victims website at the www.californiacrimevictims.org, where you'll find a lot of resources there also. And there's the Mountain Crisis Services in Mariposa County. That number is area code 209-742-5865. And they also have a toll-free hotline number that's a 24-hour number. So that number is 800-966-2350. Now, it's really important that you seek the resources if you need them. Do not shy away from them. We all need a little helping hand every now and then. Do not be afraid to ask for it. Never be afraid to ask for a helping hand from your fellow human beings. That's what we're about. That's why we're here together. We got to help each other out. We got to look out for one another. We got to expose the bad when the bad is out there. We don't just talk positive around the bad. We expose the bad for what it is, uncover it, deal with it, change it to the positive, and we all move forward. We can do this. I swear we can do this. Now, real quick too, before I end the show, no matter what happens, come Tuesday, listen, we're still in this together, right? We're still in it together. We have some serious situations we have to take care of. We're going to have to put a lot of money back into our economy. We've lost a lot of money. We've got to get through this COVID thing first. There's still a lot to be done, but we really have to overcome our differences. We really, and the thing is there's not many differences. There's really not. There's more that, bind us than divide us. So let's find those areas that bind us more than divide us and start working on those, strengthening those, building those. One other thing too, we have to keep it all in facts. Always, always facts. If we don't deal with facts, then what's the point? So to wrap everything up for this evening, there's a lot of resources out there available to you. We really hope that come the Tuesday vote, everyone gets out there, makes their vote count, and whoever becomes president, just roll with it. We can do this together. Let's just figure out how to build upon whoever becomes our leader. We have to. We're too great of a country to just let other countries destroy us from inside out. Let's not let that happen. We can build together and stay stronger together. All right? So, wrapping it up, I'm Matthew Gonzalez for the IPJ, the podcast. Remember, folks, it's your voice. Use it.